Before beginning to work with audio in the digital domain, it's helpful to understand the nature of sound. The three most crucial parts of a sound that you hear are waveform, frequency, and amplitude. Now, let's take a look at each of these aspects, and let's start with the waveform. The waveform is probably the most recognizable part of a sound. It refers to the shape of a sound. Even though different sounds will have different waveform shapes, they share a few common features. For example, when you look at a waveform, there is a horizontal line in the center that indicates zero energy, so a silent waveform would appear as a straight line. For any sound that's not silence, you'll notice that the waveform line begins by ascending from the zero line. The energy of the sound will then reach its peak and then go back down to the zero line. Then, its energy will drop below the zero line into negative territory. And here, it will also have a negative peak and then return to the zero line. All sounds will have this natural back and forth motion, but no two sounds are alike, so every waveform has a distinctive shape. Now, let's take a look at frequency. When we refer to frequency, we're talking about the sound's pitch. Higher frequencies produce higher pitches, while lower frequencies produce lower pitches. We call it frequency because it relates to how frequent the waveform goes above and below the zero line. One complete back and forth motion of the waveform is called a cycle. Frequency is measured in hertz and represents how many cycles of a waveform occur every second. Now, when we refer to amplitude, we are talking about the loudness of sound. Like frequency, you can visually see it in the waveform. The frequency would be seen in the waveform by looking at how fast it's going above and below the zero line. The amplitude is how far the waveform extends from the zero line, so essentially its height. A louder sound will have a greater amplitude and be a taller waveform, and a lower amplitude sound will have a shorter waveform. Just as the unit of measurement for frequency is hertz, amplitude has its own unit of measurement called a decibel. Knowing these basic aspects of sound will help us better understand how sound is recorded in the digital domain.